There we go.
All right. Awesome here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 7:34 on May 15th, 2024. My name is Josh Halafra, Chairman for the Libertarian Party of Florida, and at this time, I am calling this meeting of the LPF Executive Committee to order here. At this time, we're going to conduct roll call and introductions of guests. Madam Secretary, when you're ready, you may go ahead with roll call.
Okay, 1 second here. I'm already trying to multitask, guys. Bear with me. It's all LPF related though. All right. Josh Laka,
Present.
Tub.
Present.
I'm here. Brianna.
Present.
Ed.
Present.
And I heard Matt already, right?
Correct.
Lee.
Guilty.
Guilty. Matt Rice. Okay, hopefully he shows up. Leon. Rachel. Oh, where is everyone? Andrew. Harriet. Beth is here, right?
Present.
David. Moscript. Eric Montgomery.
Present.
Rich Bowen. I would like to just double check with Ed on how many times Rich has missed. I don't think he's been excused, and I think this might be the third. If somebody wants to reach out to him. John Paff.
Present.
Deanna is excused. She is in Alaska. Hector. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Present. Pardon me. I was looking for the mute button.
Okay. We have 6 absent and
Ms.
1.
Secretary.
Yes.
Rachel just got on.
Rachel's
Hi,
here, and I believe
Okay.
Eric Cordova is here as Moscript's alternate.
I
Yes,
was
I'm
about
here.
to say the same things.
I'm here for that purpose. Yes.
So hang on. I heard like a bunch of voices at once. Rachel is here.
hmm
Okay.
And then Mr. Cordova is
that.
here
Yeah.
in place of Mr. Moscript from
got
Region 8.
Yeah, I
Thank
got
you.
it. 1, 2, 3, 4 absences and 1 excused. So 5 are missing. So I think we have.
Mr. Chair, this is Mr. Koritzer.
Go ahead, Mr. Koritzer.
Yes, I'd like to note that on Discord, the meeting shown for today is the committee chairs meeting at 9:30, not the monthly EC meeting. And I would ask for your consideration for those who were not on, that there may have been some confusion on everyone's part.
I partly agree with you, Lee, but I also did send a reminder out on Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember which. So.
I'm actually, Lisa, gonna kind of agree with Mr. Koritzer. A lot of our EC members, unfortunately, really crutch on that Discord link. So even myself, I ended up in the wrong chat for almost 5-6 minutes, thinking I was there. And considering I'm the chair and I made that mistake, I could absolutely believe that other members of the EC could be also in a similar situation. So,
Yeah.
we're going to give a little grace tonight if there are any latenesses here.
Yeah.
Mr. Bowen has missed, I believe, every EC meeting up to date so far. So
I'd
let
like
me get
someone to
Rich.
check in with him because
Yeah,
if he doesn't want to, there might actually be a backup for him. So I can't remember if there is or not, but I'm going to check.
let me talk to Mr. Bowen. Let me see what's going on there. I know he's been exceptionally busy with the Joshua Smith campaign, being his campaign manager, so that could absolutely factor in there. That
Yeah,
being
there's
said,
no alternate for him.
Yep, I understood. That's what I'm saying here. Let me see what's going on. If this is just a situation of I couldn't say what, but just busy with other things, we can make that determination how to move forward. But yeah, if we get any latenesses in, I'm going to be very graceful tonight, considering I spent 6 minutes looking goofy myself, waiting for a room that wasn't going to open up for me. Moving along with orders of the day, though, let's get back on business here, guys. I don't see Mr. Benner or Mr. Cowan in the chat tonight there, which is perfectly fine. I believe we have over the 10 members necessary for quorum. Is that correct, Madam Secretary?
Yeah, we do.
All right, excellent here. So we have quorum, guys. Thank you all again for being here on time tonight. Moving along with the agenda here, we'll go into item 4, which is public comment. We're going to give approximately 10 minutes for anybody not on the executive committee or a committee chair to give any kind of public comment at this time. So any general members looking to be recognized,
I think,
please raise
guys,
your hand.
I need like 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right.
Are we still having the meeting next week?
That would be the officers meeting.
Yep. Probably not going to be having the officers meeting, just to get out ahead of that there, probably because we're all going to be, for the most part, in DC. So if we want to have an in-person informal officers meeting on Sunday and get a dinner together, I'm absolutely for that there, guys. But I'm going to put it out here now while we have a little lull, is that we will not be having the officers meeting. I am canceling that due to the national convention being ongoing during that time.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, for the record, I put it in the chat, but I just want to also say out loud that the committee chairs meeting has been updated in Discord moving forward to the correct date and time, as has the EC meeting moving forward as well.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I don't know what the heck happened with that there, but I'm glad we got it resolved. Once again, there are many EC members, myself included, who rely on that link. And considering I have it several places and still went there and sat for 5 minutes, I, take that for what it's worth, guys, here. Gonna move along here. I'm just gonna say Lisa will get back when she gets back. Not a problem here. Next item up on the agenda is the approval of the agenda here. Do we have anybody looking to move to approve the agenda as presented?
Hey, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir, Mr. Vinson.
I did want to give a quick report because I have to get out around 8 o'clock. So for the Legislative Action Committee, I just wanted to give a report for the LAC.
Gotcha, Mr. Vinson. Please post your report on the bulletin board. Historically, over the last year or so, we've been waiving the committee reports, so I don't want to hold you up here if you have something you have to do.
Yep, that's fine.
I'm back.
I can be quick.
Awesome. Thank you, Robert.
Did you guys go ahead with public comment, or you just were chatting?
The public comment kind of wasn't, so we moved along to... I was moving into approving the agenda and seeking a motion to approve the agenda here.
Got it.
Would you like to move, Ms. Gansky?
Sure.
All right. The secretary moves. Is there a second on the Bruce seconds? All right. So we have a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Motion to amend the agenda to strike all reports from committee chairs and executive committee members that are currently in BB.
All right.
In order to save time.
Half seconds.
All right, Mr. Path. Second. Mr. Path.
Great.
All right, here. So real quick here, guys, just looking at the bulletin board here, I am seeing committee reports for, it looks like, everybody except affiliate support. Legislative action, we already know because he's going to post that on the bulletin board. I know Dr. Mihas usually emails his report out to the EC, and I believe I saw that. And then regions, I'm seeing every region except the ones who don't have a a rep on there. So it looks like we would be striking all of those, including the officers' reports there,
Correct.
guys. So there was a second here, guys.
Interject.
Is there any discussion on the amendment of the agenda? Is there any objection to amending the agenda?
Mr. Chair, I don't know if I'm out of order as a committee, well, yet to be committee. I did prepare some things for the EC, assuming that there would be a report. I did post on the bulletin board. So I don't know if, if I could be allowed to speak at some point with the.
Absolutely, Mr. Golod. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna mute you, Mark.
I'm hearing your feedback is coming through, Mark.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
So, Mark, what I'll do is at the end of the meeting, we usually give about 10 minutes for announcements. In that time, I can allow you, I can have you be recognized and let you give that report. I do appreciate that you brought that. And guys, if you haven't checked out that report from Mr. Golub on the bulletin board, please do. I checked it out myself. There's a lot of really good stuff there, and I'm really excited to get started here. But let's keep on with orders of the day here real quick there, guys. Is there any further amendments to the agenda at going once, going twice? Hearing none. Is there any objection to the amended agenda? No objections?
I got it this time. I'm finally getting used to it, so.
Awesome here. Being that I'm hearing no objections, agenda is approved as amended. Moving on with orders of the day here. Next item on the agenda is item 7, which is the LNC report from Mr. Benner or Mr. Cowan. Neither of them are here, although we can make time for them if they do come on, and we can get that there. Go ahead, Mr. Appler. I see your hand.
Did we approve the minutes?
Yeah, you
Item 6.
skimmed over that. You skimmed over that. We need to
I absolutely did here, guys. That is on me. I am so sorry. So let me circle back around. We're actually on item 6 there. Thank you for getting me back on actual orders of the day. Approval. So item 6, approval of the LPF EC meeting minutes from April 21st, 2024. Got to do that first here, guys. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
Motion to approve.
I heard Mr. Roos first. I'm going to give Mr. Johnson the second on that one. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes as presented? All right. Hearing no discussion, is there any objection to approving the minutes as presented? Going once, going twice. Hearing none, minutes are approved for April 21st. Thank you, guys. Now, item 7 would actually be the Dave Benner Cowan report, which we still don't have Mr. Benner and Mr. Cowan here, so we're going to move along. Item 8 would be committee. Yes.
Can I ask a question on this point? Should somebody ask Dave or Martin if they would mind showing up once in a while? I don't think they've been on for like
Lisa.
I know a convention is happening this month, but.
I don't mean to cut you off, and I think Mr. Johnson might be saying the same thing, but I don't really think inviting Mr. Cowan or Mr. Benner is going to benefit us, just for the fact neither of them are running for re-election for LNC. By this time next week, we are going to have a completely new regional representative.
That's not the point. Yeah.
And I intend to have that conversation with them, although it's a courtesy for them to show up, not a requirement. So would I like them to come? Absolutely. Do I expect them to come? Reality, not all the time there. Would I have liked Mr. Benner and Mr. Cowan to have shown up a little bit more towards the tail end? Yes, but on the road to NatCon, these things tend to happen there. So I'm not going to stir on it.
Point, but they also haven't been in like a year. So my point is, regardless of who the reps are, I think it would be nice if they would show up like maybe once every 3 or 4 months.
Okay, Ms. Gansky, I will absolutely inform them, but I once again can only it's treated as a courtesy, not a requirement here.
Mm-hmm. Also, I noticed that Rich has come on.
Okay, awesome there. So we got Mr. Bowen on the call now too. We can mark him as in attendance here, guys. We'll get back on orders of the day here. So Item 8 was the committee reports. We waived all of those there. Item 9 was the officer reports and comments. Those were all waived as well. Item 10 was the director at large and regional reports. Those were also all waived as part of the amendment of the agenda here. So going on to item 11, this is the chairman's consent agenda. We have item A, which is the review the status of the candidate committee, search for a chair, which we have not had anybody who has stepped up to take on that role here. So just as an update there. The other item on the chairman's consent agenda is to appoint convention committee members or the following people to the convention committee. Beth Johnson, Gabrielle Cordova, John Thompson, and Wendy Hamlin. Is there any objection from anybody on the EC? If so, we will move this to our new business. Going once, going twice. All right, hearing no objection, Ms. Johnson, Ms. Cordova, Mr. Thompson, and Ms. Hamlin are now part of the convention committee as voting members. So excellent stuff there. Thank you all to those four, even if they're not on the call, for their assistance and their volunteerism at this, guys. Item 12 on the agenda is under old unfinished business, which is ABM reconciliation report of the 2024 Constitution and bylaws. Is there somebody seeking to move this?
I'll move it.
All right, Ms. Gansky moves. Is there a second on this?
Second.
All right, Mr. Montgomery seconds. This was attached in the email Lisa sent out earlier this week, guys, with the agenda on there. It had the convention constitution and the bylaws there. I believe we just need to make sure everything looks correct and then approve them, and they can go up on the website officially there. So at this time, is there any discussion on either of these documents?
I don't know if John wants to say a word, but if so, you're welcome to.
Mr. Thompson, as the Rules Committee Chair, would you like to be recognized and discuss any of these items?
No, I have nothing to say. If there are any questions, I'll certainly be glad to answer. But we just took the minutes from the business meeting. I mean, everybody was there. Remember, we passed all this stuff with minor edits. So it's just taking what we've passed and putting it into the document. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Does anybody on the EC have any questions for Mr. Thompson at all?
No.
Nope. Okay. All right, guys. So I'll do this by a quick voice vote here. An aye vote would be in favor of passing these as presented. A no vote would be against passing them. Like Mr. Thompson said, this was all done at convention here, guys. So if you're curious on where we're getting these documents from, this is just an update of what we did at convention here. So anybody not understand what we're voting before we move on to the vote? All righty. All in favor of passing these as presented, please say aye.
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 I will be an aye as well on this here. And then all opposed, please say no. All right, the ayes have it. Had a funny feeling on that one there. Thank you, guys. Matt, I guess you or one of your team members, please get them up on the website as quickly as possible. If somebody says we're trying to make secret sausage over here.
I will add it to my list of things to do this week.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that there. And I know you're coming to convention, so don't make it a super priority unless you're bored traveling. Item 13, guys, let's get back on orders of the day here. Got a couple different things. Under new business, we have item A, which is the election of a Region 2 representative. At this time, the chair will now take nominations for the Region 2 representative position.
Wasn't there someone who wanted to be in Region 2? He was on the last call. I can't recall his name.
I'm not seeing anybody I'm familiar with on here, Brianna. So if there
Is
are,
that the membership meeting or the general membership meeting? I don't have any names.
I don't think it was last Sunday, but it was the Sunday before last.
Either way, let's get them to reach out to the chair or reach out to myself or Lisa at either chair or secretary at lpf.org. Let us know that they're interested and we can make sure they're credentialed properly. And if they are an LPF member and a voter, have them show up to the next meeting and we can definitely look to make that appointment and see if we can get them voted in there. All right there. So having nobody for Region 2 at this time, we will move along here. I'm going to do this one a little differently to save us a little time here, guys. Does anybody have anybody for Region 3 that they are looking to nominate for the position? Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right. Region 3 is still open, guys. If you know anybody, have them reach out to me. We can try and get them in the position in the June meeting. Last one, have anybody to nominate for Region 11 representative here? Going once, going twice. All right. Anybody for deputy secretary nominations? Going once,
Nobody's
going
reached out.
twice. Heard. I'm going to give everybody a chance to give everybody at least a 3 count here, guys. So appreciate
Chair?
that. Yes, sir. Mr. Johnson, go ahead.
Leon from Region 4 is here.
Awesome. Let's make sure she is noted as in attendance here, and we will continue along with business there. Thank you, sir, for letting us update that. Go ahead, Brianna.
His name is Jonathan McGee for the Region 2. He was
national. He's running for national.
That's national.
I thought it was for.
Nope, that's for national. Nope, you're okay. Yep, Jonathan McGee is a LP Alabama member that I'm very familiar with there, and I don't think he qualifies to be our particular Region 2 rep, but I do appreciate his interest if he is. So thank you to Mr. McGee. If he is interested, I look forward to him moving to the great sunshine state of Florida instead of the awful state of Alabama. And their football team, for the record, is also horrible too, but that's between you, me, and the recording here, guys.
Region 2 is Lower Alabama.
It is, it truly is. You make a good point, guys. But let's get back on orders of the day here. We're having too much fun here. I know we're in Florida and we're the fun affiliate, but let's get the business done. And once we adjourn, we can go back to having fun and partying there. But item E is motion number 832. This motion is titled "Motion to Reaffiliate Pinellas and Clay Counties." The mover is Ms. Gansky. At this time, is there a second to the motion?
Second, Appler.
Mr. Appler seconds. Lisa, would you like to speak to your motion here real quick?
Yeah, there's not too much here to say. Just they were late with the deadline, and Ed helped get me them through the finish line just after everybody had gone home from the race.
Awesome here. Not to bias the board, but this unfortunately seems to be a common occurrence every year. There's always 1 or 2 stragglers there, so I don't want anybody to be surprised by this. If, again, you're new to the EC here, but is there any discussion on the affiliates being reaffiliated?
I'll just say I think we should go ahead and let them in because, yeah, why wouldn't we, right?
Any further discussion on the matter?
All the paperwork in order.
Yes, all the paperwork is in order, and I don't believe any positions changed. And regardless, all the EC members are fully credentialed.
Thank you, Mr. Appler. Mr. Cordova, did you have a discussion on the matter?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that as the chair of the affiliate support committee, we took seat like a couple weeks before the deadline. So unfortunately for this year, the transition happened at a time where it was difficult to help these affiliates along. My hope is that the work that we're doing this year sets us forward so that we don't encounter this moving forward. And Mr. Paff, I know you can vouch for us that that's what we're working toward here. So hopefully this will be smoother in the coming years. So I just want to let you guys know that.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Cordova. Is there any further discussion on the approval of or reaffiliation of the Clay and Pinellas County affiliates here, guys? All right. Hearing and seeing no wish for further discussion, we will move to a quick voice vote here, guys. So an aye vote would be to reaffiliate Clay and Pinellas counties. A no vote would be against that there. All in favor of reaffiliating both counties, please say aye.
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 I will also vote aye on this matter here, and then all opposed, please say no. That definitely sounds like the ayes had it here, guys. Congratulations to Pinellas and Clay counties. They are reaffiliated here. The next motion, I'm the mover. So after we get a second here, I'm going to pass the gavel off to Pastor Tubb. But real quick here, motion.
Dr. Roos seconds.
Can I at least read the motion, Mr. Roos? Motion number 833, motion to approve the new contract for a fundraising contractor. I am the mover. Mr. Roos already seconded at this time. Mr. Rohrabaugh, I'm passing the gavel off to you here.
Okay.
And if it is okay, I'd like to speak to my motion real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Guys, Mark Golob is looking to hire Mark Golob as the fundraiser for the LPF on a contractor basis. For many of you guys who've been on the EC for a few years, you know this is something we've done in the past. I know the last one, and many of you familiar, didn't go as well as we would like to. Please mute if you are not already. Thank you. I was going to say here, guys, I know the last one didn't go as well as we intended to. We have changed up the parameters. This is a completely commission-based contract. Basically, Mr. Golob, and he's well aware of this, he makes as much money as he can make for the LPF essentially here, guys. So it is a 30% commission rate. I know that sounds a little high, but I promise you it is competitive for the market for what he's doing here. And, you know, it's just the thought too that hypothetically, if Mr. Golob makes $100,000 and he gets $30,000 for himself, that's still $70,000, guys, that we were not getting any other way from any other source. And I know Mr. Golob has been extremely successful in past years. He was a prior fundraiser for the LPF, contracted for a number of years prior to my time on the EC. And he has multiple years fundraised in the 5 and I believe even into the 6 figures. So, you know, Mr. Golob has a long track record. He's been doing this with great success in our state. I've had conversations with Mark. He actually informs me that we're in a better place than when he started back in 2017 fundraising for the LPF. So I also want to note Mr. Golob is taking on the national fundraiser with the LNC as well, but he's already committed to me that LPF and his home state of Florida will be his priority. And thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes all of what I have to say here.
Are there any questions or comments from anybody?
Mr. Chair, this is Mr. Koritzer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, audit reviewed the contract. So as audit chair, we found it acceptable, but we had asked for one additional term to be added that we felt was mutually beneficial to Mr. Golob and the LPF. And that is, in the past, we've had issues clearly identifying when people made donations that the funds were based off of the fundraiser and not just someone coming in and making a donation. Since this is commission-based, the suggestion was there would be a means for Mr. Golob to utilize some mechanism through the internet for those people that are going to be making donations based on his work so that it could be tracked and he could be paid correctly. I was wondering if that was added to the contract as a council.
I can speak to that.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Mr. Chair.
I see you there now.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, Mr. Koritzer, to speak on that, that is something that was agreeable. I believe we're actually in the process of working that out right now, whether we are going to be able to give Mr. Golob access to the Stripe account and give him his own unique link, or if we can set up a unique donation page for Mr.
Yes.
Golob through Nation Builder, which I think is what we're leaning towards right now. But either way, we will have a way for Mr. Golob's donations that he gets through his work to be uniquely tracked from other donations that may come in from just Joe Smith off the street wanting to make a $20 donation to the LPF just cause.
Yeah,
Did that answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you. And I support the motion, by the way.
If it
Mr.
doesn't
Johnson?
come through the link, guys, then it wouldn't count. So, and Mark knows this, so I think we're good. And Matt has his hand up, I think, to say
Yeah,
he's
go ahead, Matt.
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted to speak to. Is that's the fantastic thing about Nation Builder is that I can create as many unique donation pages as possible using either one of our Stripe accounts. We have the federal one, and we also have the state one. And if the donation doesn't happen on that page, then obviously it was just a regular donation, and it just doesn't get counted. So anytime we want to make this same arrangement with anybody else, we could just in a matter of 5 minutes, as opposed to right now we have to go through national. Oh no, we don't, because we switched the website over. But yeah, so in a matter of 5 minutes, I can create a unique donation link for anybody who wants to attempt the same thing.
Quick question, it may be off topic a little bit.
Hang on one second. We already have Hector with his hand up.
Sorry.
So we can let Mr. Ruse go ahead, Mr. Ruse.
They just wanted to mention I would suggest that Mr. Golub also keep track of who he expects. He has his own private records to match against ours. I'm sure he's already thought of that, and also doing that because on occasion we may expect paper checks, which we would have to then manually into our records. That's all I want to say. I might also stand in support of this. If anybody's wondering, the most successful, our standard for fundraising contractor was Salisis Laughter about 2 years ago, give or take. I want to point out that the way that we were tracking, or the momentum of fundraising that we were having with a committed contractor, was putting us on track to actually have a $100,000 revenue year. So that's I think this model works, and I support it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Roos. Mr. Montgomery.
Since it's easier to create contribution pages, should we consider offering this to all the candidates that currently are running for local offices to assist them, and maybe short circuit it comes to the state and then it goes to the candidate to help some of the paperwork? And
to that point, we already currently offer complete websites with that capability to any of our candidates.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cordova.
Yeah, I just wanted Mr. Golub, because I'm not as familiar with his work, given I moved down to Florida more recently than perhaps some other people. I just wanted him to speak to what he'd done prior and what your expected time commitment and what your goals will be in the role. So I just want to hear that straight from the horse's mouth.
Mr. Golub, go ahead.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No feedback. Okay, so in the past, I did send a letter out to the EC. So I kind of explained a little bit what I did in the past in the letter. I just wanted to make sure everyone got that. I just did the EC at lpf.org, and I sent out a letter. I know Josh got it because he responded to it. But to go over that, in 2017 in November, I was appointed as somebody had stepped down to fill the role. And basically, I did a few all online fund drives. I did a banquet dinner to meet Bill Weld in person. And found a lot of ways to monetize the convention that weren't being utilized in the past. At the time, I only had records of 10 years of fundraising because we just switched some things over and we just didn't have any older records. But in what I saw, I raised more than anybody ever did before, at least in 10 years. One thing, and another thing that you might be familiar with is when Celicia took over, I stayed on for a few months to advise her, and I really didn't say anything about the 2021 convention because I wanted to peacefully pass the torch and feel that everybody would accept Celicia and any equity I built with our constituents, she would enjoy as well. But I actually had the 2021 fundraiser planned, and I can say this, she executed it for me, but it was something that I put in place, and we got that weekend on the floor of the convention more $1,000 or more donations than we had in the entire decade of the 2010s. I said, we're going to get more money out of people at this convention. And we did. I think on the floor, we raised about 10 while she was doing her ask. And then the ensuing week, we got another 12. So that's part of the success. I'm in the production business. I donate every year, except unfortunately, because of health issues, I couldn't do it this year. But I donate all my production to make a beautiful, classy looking convention. So people come in, they're much more likely to give when you have a convention that looks like it's put on by a bunch of professionals as opposed to a taped together lectern sign, so these are things that I've done, small things that I've done and the big things. The first all online fund drive I did got over $24,000 of commitments that we only collected about 12 or 15. A few people really flaked out. And at that time, there was a lot of drama in the party. It wasn't anything that I specifically did. It was just people rage quitting and whatever. And then the Bill Weld event, we grossed 10,000 and netted 5,000. Then the next year, the all online one was called Level Up. And Level Up did a little south of $9,000. I also, along the way, schmoozed, because here in South Florida, we have a lot of wealthy people, and wealthy people should be driving this party. So I had a few lunches with a few people, managed to get 6,000 out of one guy, another 1,000. I raised $1,000 for us on the floor of the LPMD convention. I was explaining to Josh, LPF really is where my heart, it beats the strongest, even over my own affiliate. No, nothing against my own affiliate. I was very consistent. I don't think I missed a meeting in 10 years. So I love my affiliate, but I love the LPF even more. And I don't really, Josh said that I said I would take priority, and I don't think that was my words as over national. I assured him I could handle both, but really my passion for LPF is far more than I have for any of the other strata of our organization. As far as goodwill, you guys were discussing the contract and trying to make sure the links, that what the fundraising that I did came back. There was leaks in it. My original contract was like everything that came in after the start of the contract. That was something that was overlooked. And when I looked at it, I was even like, guys, this is a stupid contract for you guys. And I didn't take that money. I was just like, when I would submit my contributions. I was like, look, I got Suzanne Gilmore to do this, but we know she's been there forever. I'm not going to take her money. You know, we know some of the regulars. So like I have a lot of goodwill also for the LPF. It's not just I have passion, but it's goodwill because hate is passionate too. So I have a ton of goodwill towards the LPF and the people in it. And I want it to be successful. But I did say in that letter, the contract did factor in because I explained I had health issues. I was in the hospital 6 months. I think I died for about 30 seconds. I had a massive stroke. And so I've had really not much income for a year, like pretty much zero. My wife still can operate our company, but I was an owner operator and I can't do physical work. I need to find something I can do from home. And Stephen Nikela came to visit me just to check up on me because he hadn't seen me since the stroke. And he recruited me to both LPF and for national. And it was perfect timing because I'm like, I got to figure out something I need to do. So I'm not going to squander this opportunity. Believe me, this is, I appreciate the opportunity again. I think I've built a lot of equity and goodwill among the people who know and remember the work that I did and continue to do. You know, I did the production 5 years in a row. Most of it was predominantly a donation, and then the money I gave, I just gave to my guy that worked it instead of keeping it, you know, just because so I wouldn't have to go completely backwards during that period. So I have a ton of goodwill for the LPF. It's very important to me, you know, and I've reached in my pocket and I have given thousands of dollars over the years. I was one of the $1,000 contributors on the floor of that convention, you know, just to make sure people would do it. I'm like, you know, my mantra has always been lead by example, put your money where your mouth is. And if you're going to talk about the problem, be the solution. That's still my mantra.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Golub. Mr. Cordova, does that answer your questions?
More than answer my question. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. I have one question for Audit before we put this to vote. Audit, do we need to include this in the contract about how his payout will come based on his special link, or are we good just move forward?
We can move forward.
Okay. All right. So any other questions or comments? All right. I think we can put this to a simple voice vote. Anybody who says yes is voting in favor of bringing on Mr. Golub as our fundraiser. Are we ready? Everybody in favor of, say aye.
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 Anybody against? Hearing no one against, it looks like we are good to go, Mr. Golub. Thank you, sir. I now pass this back to the chair, Mr. Halafka.
Thank you, Mr. Rohrbar. Mark, I'm going to get that contract over to you as soon as I can so we can get that signed and get you rolling there. That way I can sign off on it too. But thank you again to everybody on the LPF. We now have a new contracted fundraiser, and I'm very looking forward to seeing what Mark can do for us there. So thank you, Mr. Golub, in advance for what you're going to do. And thank you again for being interested in taking up the offer when it was presented there. I do appreciate this immensely here. That being said, guys, we are on to item 14, which is notice that the next executive committee meeting will be held on June 16th, 2024 here. Item 15 is announcements. Mr. Golub, I did promise you time during this. Did you want to address the EC at this point?
If this is a good time, that's perfectly okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I just want to make sure, did everyone look at the bulletin board and what I put up there? Because I want to go over a few of those things. Because some of it really requires your vote and your approval. And I will say I'm just getting familiar with this EC, but I may throw my old EC that I walked into under the bus a little bit because we have to learn from some of the mistakes that we did. And I'm going to call certain things mistakes when they are. But if you look on the graphic on the bulletin board, you'll see something that I want to put in the newsletter monthly, and I want to update it. And you're going to see the first things are actually on the bulletin board, just so we're looking at the same thing. You're going to see two graphics that say move the needle, and that'll be our October fund drive. That'll be all digital. But the thing that I'm going to start ASAP is what's in this graphic. It says war chest. If we're kind of dovish as libertarians, I can change it to strong box. I don't want to do lock box because I don't want to sound like Al Gore. Maybe us old guys will remember that. But so the war chest is something we need your approval of. And the reason why I'm asking for approval for this is because our donors need to know what the money is going for. I could not get our last EC to agree on anything. I just had to make it up. I'm just like, oh, this is going to go for, I wanted Nation Builder so bad. I started begging people for Nation Builder, but the EC couldn't even come up with anything at the time. And I'm so happy that I can use Nation Builder now. It's definitely going to pay dividends. But it's not my place to say we're building a war chest. But every
Can I make a comment, Mark?
Sure.
Yes. So one thing you could maybe come to one of the comms meetings. Sorry, I'm getting feedback, but I'm going to try to go through it. So we're using Nation Builder. Obviously, you're very familiar with it, but we've already done several candidate websites. So I think that's one big thing that you want to make sure that you're telling people is like, now we have the ability to really help our candidates get this major roadblock out the way, right? Because Matt has basically a template. So that's one huge thing that I think will really help. We also, when counties want to reaffiliate or just get affiliated to start with, if they don't have a website, we can host it. And we can host it in a way where it points to their domain, so it's not like a subdomain of LPF. So we're trying to use Nation Builder to make it easier for other folks to, be able to run for office and to get involved.
Yeah, I 100% am on board with that, because that was the biggest contention the EC I used to report to was, how come we don't help our candidates fundraise? How come we don't help them get started? How come we don't help affiliates? We didn't have the ability to, and we didn't have the manpower or the strength or the technology or anything to do that. So that's the reason why I was a huge advocate at the time for Nation Builder. So I'm going to let everyone know about it. And in fact, you can see under the war chest, you see Nation Builder. I'm going to tell them, people what the extent. So if you're looking at the graphic, Nation Builder is one of the things on it. So when I'm going back to the war chest, though, I can't really say we're saving a certain amount of money. However, everyone I've ever talked to agrees we need to sit on probably 50 or 100 grand, and we need to build that up, but we still have expenses as we're going along. So I kind of put that up there just because I know that's been something talked about, and I know we've had our coffers kind of high and then they've gone low, and believe me, I know what that's like. So I'm just asking you guys to, put together or approve. I'm not even, saying you guys have to do this, but I'm hoping that you'll do something like that and say, this is where your dollar goes. And I'll even make a graphic. I'll do it where take a dollar bill graphic and make 10% of it go to X, 10, another 10, a different 10 go to Y, and a different 10 go to Z, 50% go to something else, I'll make that graphic. But I really want to tell our people about this. I also think I looked at our records, we have 50 at 25, not 100 at 25. So this is something I want to push for a long time. And then as we go down, I want to acknowledge donors, which I don't think we have a problem doing. And I don't know if I need to get approval to say thank you to our donors. Then below that is the nation builder graphic. And then if there's a match, like right now, I understand we were $500 a month short of being able to afford Nation Builder. And Stephen Nikela put up a match. But I don't like coming out of the gate swinging and spitting here. But I want to tell you guys a few other things I did while I was researching. It looks like we have 26 EC members, including alternates. Only 5 have recurring donations. And we've been pushing 100 at 25 for 3 years, since 2021. 5 of the 26 of the people who control our party have bought into 100 at 25. We also have 11 of those people who've donated $0 all year. The good news is that it's more than the EC. Some people made some last year, but $0 from 11 people. And that tells me that the EC isn't invested enough in the LPF. And so I just really want to, I'm telling you my attitude, because, I've been Kiwanis, I've been Rotary, I've been, Chamber of Commerce, I've been a non-for-profit radio station board of directors. When you're on a board, it's implicit that you're the top donors, because if you don't give anything, why would anybody else? They just wouldn't. Because you're telling them we're worth nothing. And I really would challenge anyone, just answer it in your head. Is the majority of people not donating to their organization structurally sound? What world does that exist that it's a picture of success?
Mr. Golub.
Yes, sir.
If I may interrupt you. I don't know if you're paying attention to the chat, but someone asked who are our top three.
I'm not calling names out now. I don't do that. When I call people out, it's with dignity, and I don't want to embarrass anybody. I actually made a list of names and didn't put it in front of me because I didn't even want to be tempted of who's not donating. I don't know who the top donors are yet. I'm not even approved yet, and I did a lot of groundwork just so I know which way the wind is blowing, but I can't tell you who the top donors are. The most germane part of what I'm talking about is who's not donating, is the people that voted to get Nation Builder, however, won't put up. If I voted for it, I'm like, my God, I got to pay for this shit. The people that allowed, the disparity in income are the people not giving and responsible for it. That just doesn't fly anywhere. I don't need to be Warren Buffett to explain why that doesn't work. And like I said, I say lead by example, put your money where your mouth is. And if you're going to highlight a problem, be the solution. Tonight, I'm doing 125. Who's with me? Let's take care of this tonight. Let's fill the gap tonight. We need 10 people at $25 a month. There's 21 people not doing it right now. So right now we can fill the gap, and I'm in. I'm doing it tonight.
I'd like to add. Do you want to mute for a second? Sorry. I'd like to add, I did ask for people to, if they voted for the Schneider funds to be sent to consider donating. I don't know that anyone did. There might have been one, but I'm not sure if that came from somebody else who was just donating. So we had half of the EC voted to give a lot of funds, a little more than half, 10 of us opted to give funds to Schneider when we didn't really have it to give. So I would say if you're one of those folks who did that,
I don't know what Schneider Fund is.
he's a candidate and he needed money to get on the ballot. So a lot of people voted to give him like $2,000, and most of those people donate.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about that. I just know it looks like there's a lot of captains on the bridge and no one at the helm right now. And the boat is just this flotsam thing that everyone's looking at each other wondering why it's not working. When to me, it's glaringly obvious why this isn't working. I mean, look, there's 11 of you and nobody can tell me that they can't afford $25 a month. I don't believe it for a second. You know what? I have $500,000, $500,000 worth of bills. I haven't had of medical bills. I haven't had income for a year. I haven't earned anything near what I used to. I haven't really earned anything over the last year, anything to speak of, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it because, like I said, my passion and my goodwill and my heart is in this organization. You know, and I'll do it if it kills me. And I'm not impressed with death because I've already died once. So that's the commitment you got from me. But I really have to throw it to this body. If you're not doing it, I know who you are. You're going to hear from me. But I want to look, I don't have Stripe yet, but I want to look at Stripe in the morning. I'm going to ask somebody to get into it for me and see who gave. Because you guys know who you are. It's as simple as that. I mean, 11 people haven't given a dime all year. And it must have been like a lot of people gave in October last year. It must have been a fund drive or something, which is great. Thank you. But today's a new day. Today we're $250 short. And now I just committed to it. So we only need 9 people right now to do 100 at 25. But we've been pushing that for 3 years, and the majority of people aren't doing it at all. Anyway, I spent enough time on that. You know, you can tell I get fiery, but that's what we need. I have to say what needs to be said. So I'm in right now. I'm going to our lpf.org. I'm putting it in. Anyone else want to step up right now on this call? Let's get a rally going. Who wants to do it?
So I'm already
Mr. Golub.
Yeah.
But I'll commit another 25 a month.
Thank you, Josh. That's perfect leadership. That's the picture of leadership. I'll tell you a little story too. You know what? I always get going. I'm sorry, but
Mark, I think somebody wanted to speak as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
This is Mrs. Johnson from Region 7. Sorry, I don't know where the feedback's coming from. I haven't donated because obviously we're a family and the LPF and my husband donates plenty, but you have inspired me. So I will commit to the 25. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's 3. And you know, one of the things that happened in the past and how I got the very first rally I got going, I came back from the 2018 convention. The chair was from my affiliate. We used to do a cow meeting every Tuesday. So we all got home on Monday, and then Tuesday we went to this cow meeting. And I just told them, He was young. He was 23 years old. I go, when you're on a board, it's implicit that you're the biggest donor. I'm going to fail if you aren't the biggest donor for this whole thing. And I literally went Luca Brasi on him. I'm like, look, get your checkbook out. Either your brains or your signature is going to be on that check. And he did. And that's the week we got over $24,000 in commitments. In 1 week, really in a couple of days, we got like 15 grand. And that's because the leadership stepped up, and the people in my Cal meeting, a lot of them were LPF, not just LPMD. And I got, it was like Martha Bueno, Marie Alexandra, a couple other people. I can't remember all the people that were at that meeting that were still LPF, but I'm just like, everyone right now, your leadership give. And it worked. It worked. So that's that. Let's get fired up about this. We have this amazing tool, and we're doing more things than I've with it already. We've done more things than I've seen in the 10 years, 12 years I've been active in the party. I was begging for this tool. We're doing so much more. We just need to keep it. I don't want an excuse for people to whine and complain we're wasting money.
Sorry.
Go.
Sorry, I thought I was muted and I accidentally chuckled.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. Josh, mute me or I'll keep going, okay?
It's okay, Mark. Thank you. Mark, I appreciate the effort here, and I appreciate you putting out the challenge to the whole EC. So double check, because I know I was a 25 or 125 member, and then my credit card expired and it lapsed, and I thought I restarted it, but it might just be a generic $25 reoccurring. So just if I'm not in the program itself, just let me know, please.
I think you might have lapsed because you did have 25 going and you did give this year, but it's not set up as a recurring.
That's
so
probably
if
what
you
happened.
Yeah, if you intended, a lot of people lapse. Like, I get credit card like compromises all the time and everything stops. And if I have 20 automatic things going, I got to figure out what I did, and I don't always get them back. So,
Bingo.
I'm sure that's what it is, man. And thank you very much. Thank you for leading by example.
Thank you, Mark. Moving along though here, guys, I got Miss Armstrong and Miss Gansky with their hands up. Leon, I know you've been waiting a little bit for your chance to speak, so go ahead when you're ready.
All right. I wanted to respond back. I can tell you, I'm gonna just speak very plainly. I am a single mother who has 2 different chronic illnesses. One of them is currently killing me, where I'm taking care of 5 kids. I have my mom and dad, but I work for them as well. A lot of us would love to donate more than what we can, but I represent Region 4, and there's a lot of people of us who are struggling. I spoke to Hector, I spoke to Lisa, and I came up with an idea to raise money, and I simply said, I'll sell my story, take 50% of the proceeds. Essentially, the LP can dox. I have offered that opportunity multiple times, but I have never offered it up during a meeting because I mulled on it. But now my decision has been final. I can't give you 125 from this, but I guarantee you, with all the booklets that my mom and dad have been helping me press out, one about the information, all the gossip and all the truth, including busting the High Springs Police Department, the connection to all the counties, will be in that document, including from my roller derby journey to how I ended up on January 6th. I am risking my literal freedom. The feds have already showed up to my house twice now. Another time, my dad had to tell, hey, come talk to our lawyer. That is how serious I have been for the LP. I might not be able to give $25 a month, and I was reoccurring for a donation at one point. And then I got caught by a scammer, had $600 stolen from me. That is a lot of money for a single mother, 5 kids. But I'll speak as plainly as I can. I hit the worst genetic lotto I possibly ever could. And the one voice who I got to talk to is gone. Marcus and I talked about a lot of health issues. And I'm not sure about y'all, but I was very sidetracked and got sidewinded when he passed, because the last things that he was telling me was that he was fine, that we'll be able to meet up. And because my immune system's low and his is low, that's why I didn't stop by to see him when it was requested, because it was a danger to him and it was a danger to me. I don't really like to talk about these things, but since everybody is clearing the air about their health issues, I'm just going to go ahead and clear the air. There's been whole government studies on alpha thalassemia, HBH, and the further mutations. And that all goes back to my Gullah Geechee line. We have a gold mine you're sitting on if you all take me, use me, and roll me under the bus. I'm okay with that pulling the covers. People love labels. Libertarians hate labels, but we'll use labels to show how much we hate labels. What do you think is going to happen when you have a LP member, I've been on my medication and been working today, who has autism, ADHD, OCD, by the way. I grew up cultural to the point that I have a dowry and can have an arranged marriage. That's how cultural I am. I came out of this, became what they call the glitter girl patriot, the roller derby lion Armstrong. I get kicked off for being a white supremacist. And then I ended up on top of the Capitol building at J6. And I actually know the truth about the Proud Boys, that there's 2 clubs, and I know who and set up Enrique Tarrio. This is information you all know as rebels and libertarians or not. That's the juicy fat that everybody is looking for, is the truth from a conspiracy theory, an actual truth living person. I also noticed that the pictures that I took, those were hits with the Polaroid camera. So I made a couple props that represent my region of Florida, and I can just simply take pictures and ask for donations that way. Anything that you all want to do or use or put in the effort to help me do that, I'm willing to do it. And just like I said, I want most of it to go to the LP anyway, but I'm essentially selling my story, and I'm taking a risk here. I'm taking a huge risk. The more that I talked about it on like TikTok, and I kind of showed some pictures, the higher my channel has reached traction. My Facebook following isn't there, but my following is still there in the roller derby community. It's still there and amongst the patriot community. It's still there amongst the far left Antifa side, and it's there in the right libertarian circles. If y'all want to raise money, you have my permission to use me. Use me. I can bring it in for you guys. But far as getting it out of my pocket, I can keep doing the $5 a month, but every penny that I save right now has to go to getting a working car. In fact, I'm selling my car to be at the convention, and then get a better working car. And then from there, my next money has to be saved for getting at a wheelchair. That is where we're at. I have an emergency appointment on Monday, and I literally just had stitches pulled out of my head the other day. And a lot of y'all didn't know that I had surgery, a biopsy done on my head, because what they said I'm in is something called full system failure. I also want to talk about those things at the convention because, again, the government has done a study on 120 families, and all of them being my family. It's not a government conspiracy, it's true. And a lot of people know that Americans are being poisoned or sick or not being treated properly and dying. And this is the stuff that they need to hear. I'm willing to do that. So that is what I am willing to do. I don't have the cash or the 25 a month, but I'm willing to make sure the 5 comes back out. And I'm willing for you all to take my name, and I mean my legal name, and then where it transformed to where this is my new legal government name. And y'all sell it and fill your coffers.
I definitely appreciate what you're saying there. And, I do want to speak to it. A lot of us put in sweat equity, and nothing I said is to diminish that. Statistically, we're ass backwards for the amount of people that we have that are giving, but also statistically, there is going to be someone that's going to struggle to give even a small amount. So that's the reason why I'm not calling out names. That's the reason why
I don't think you're diminishing anyone.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not intended to. We all work really hard, and we're the ones here, and we're seeing how hard it is even just to fill up every region.
So I'm also
orders of the day.
So
all right.
I'm sorry, I'm getting feedback.
Let me. Yeah, I'm gonna mute everybody real quick here. I'm sorry. All right, guys. So we're getting a little spun out in this here. So I want to move on from this topic because I get it, but I don't want us to get into what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want us to go into a three-piece act over this here. Mr. Golub, I would like to recant my earlier commitment there and instead commit that 25 to go under Miss Armstrong's name. So I still intend to give that same 25, but I'm going to set up this donation, so I'm donating in Leon's name here for that there.
That is very noble. However, I don't think that's legal. It is in other organizations, but since we're political, that would be considered a straw donation, and that could get us in a lot of trouble. So,
then in the spirit of the idea, then.
I appreciate it, and I've met Leon before. I very much admire and appreciate her. So it really wasn't an attack on any individual. So it's and it that's the reason why I reach out to people personally. I don't call out names publicly. Even if I find something untenable, I tend not to do that. I try to be Switzerland, but I do have to get fiery because those numbers I gave you are shocking. Again, weigh it against anywhere else. It just doesn't happen in any successful organization. So that's really the takeaway that I want everyone to have on this.
Yes,
I put
sir.
sweat equity too, and I've given a lot more money on top of it. I'm just trying to lead by example here.
Understood, Mark. Not a problem. Here, let's get moving along here, though, guys. Lisa, I know you've been waiting a little bit to be heard, and I know you said you had a different topic you wanted to go in. Matt, you can go after her. Awesome. Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of you were at convention and at our convention, LPF convention. I did a breakout session there about using ChatGPT to help us scale. I had this epiphany after convention, and I actually turned the presentation that was like just 5 slides. I turned it into an 80-page book. I will have a few copies at National if anyone wants to buy it. The only reason I'm mentioning it here is most of the examples I use are LPF or Miami-Dade related. And I also wanted to mention, I think it would be really helpful for affiliates, especially for people on the communications committees. I did a presentation with Brevard earlier this week. And I gave them a bunch of ideas. We worked out a few examples, and I'm open to doing that for any affiliate, no cost. So if anyone wants to have an AI session, we can set it up on Zoom. And again, I'll have some copies if anyone wants to grab one. I've been out of work since December, so I'm in a similar situation to Leon, money-wise, and just putting that out there. So that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. Can we find a way to streamline the AI to do credentialing for the LNC so I don't have to do it again in 2026?
I mean, we could probably do it all, like we could probably improve the process.
With ChatGPT 4.0, that might actually be possible.
I don't. That would save a lot of alleged controversy on the LNC's credentials committee for next term.
Yeah, but we should brainstorm something. But yeah, I think we could probably. I know you were kind of joking, but I think we could probably help you.
I am kind of joking, but I'm also kind of serious after the last friggin' week I had with that committee. So, digressing, that is not germane to this meeting here. Mr. Johnson, you were next, and then Mr. Reese, I see your hands up now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to, well, first off, after what Lisa just said, I will say I have used some of her techniques in that book over the last weekend, I will say, last weekend, and was able to raise the filing fee to run for Florida State House using the assistance of training ChatGPT. So I will add that. But my actual announcement was, it was brought up at the very beginning of the meeting that Mr. Binner and Mr. Cowan have not really attended any of our meetings. And I happen to be running for Region 2 alternate. So should I be elected this coming week as Region 2 alternate, we will at least have an alternate at every single LPF meeting moving forward. And for those of you coming, I would like your support and your vote.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I will do my LNC announcement at the end once Mr. Roos goes.
I just wanted to say the congratulations to Matt Johnson as our new candidate for State House. Also joining him in Volusia County is Joe Hanush. I believe that's 80, 88 and 89 district. So looking forward to a few more people announcing soon.
28 and 29.
28. Sorry, I know it was an 8 and 9.
Yep.
There you go. Thank you. And Mr. Chair, otherwise I would have made the motion to adjourn, but you have something else to say, so I'll let you know.
Nope. Thank you, Mr. Roos. Awesome. Glad we have more candidates. Glad to see Joe Hanush is back in the race. Matt, thank you again. You were a great candidate running in Deland County 2 years ago now? 2022?
Yep, 2022. I took 36% of the vote away from a well-loved incumbent Republican in a highly red area.
Tragic. Horrible.
I only ran for 3 months.
Couldn't have happened to a better person in that regard, and that 33% couldn't have gotten taken away from a worse person. So, things are what they are, guys. I want to round this out here. Kind of like Matt was talking about, convention is next week, guys. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you are going to attend or you have members in your region who are planning on attending, please let them know. Be ahead of time with things. Pay attention to the schedule. For those who are not aware, I'm currently running for LNC vice chair. If I do get elected, you will also have an LNC officer on every LPF call, and I don't intend to pass the gavel over for EC meetings like the prior chair did, not naming any names. Stephen, excuse me, my throat got parched there. But yeah, I'm going to be running for LNC vice chair. If you guys, hopefully we can get, you guys will support me there. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me before we get to DC. That said, please come by the credentialing table when you get to DC so we can get you checked in and we can get you seated. If you're an alternate, I'm going to have to take you over to the table to get you your delegate slots if we have to backfill you. So just be aware of the process, guys. A lot of you are national convention veterans. You've been here before. You know what this looks like. But please, if this is your first convention, take a partner. If this is your second or third or fifth or 12th convention, help the new guys out a little bit, show them the ropes, show them how things are. Some of them may have never come to an EC meeting outside of their county before this. So just be aware of that there, guys. And at this time, going back to orders of the day, we are now moving on to item 16, which is everybody's favorite item, the motion to adjourn. At this time, the chair will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Roos, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, motion to adjourn.
And I will second.
All right. Mr. Roos moves. Mr. Johnson seconds. Do I have any objection to adjournment? All right, go home. Congratulations.
I am entering the reader objection.
Well noted and well received. We're adjourning anyway, Mr. McCulley.
Thank
you, Josh.